So, a few weeks ago, I spoke at a conference in Dublin called the Data Summit, and we had one of the great fintech innovators there, Stripe, which is a really interesting company. If you're not familiar with them, I recommend you check them out. And as I mentioned in the opening speech, I'm based in the UK. I'm from Ireland. I've been based in the UK for a long time. And there we had the PSD2, the Payment Services Directive 2, that really encouraged the banks, or actually regulated the banks, to open up their APIs to open banking and to fintech companies. So as we saw earlier, the UK is a real hub of fintech activity. And so we're going to move from the world of fintech onto the exciting, fast-moving world of insurtech. And we have a real star-studded rockstar panel for you right now. And I'm going to let the moderator for the panel introduce his speakers. Please welcome to the stage Aquilino Pena from Kibo Ventures. Thank you, Aquilino. Awesome.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming to our panel. It's encouraging to see people, no? Sometimes. So we hope that we can fulfill all your expectations of the panel. So I'm Aquilino Peña. I'm the founder of a fund called Kibo Ventures, based here out of Madrid. And we invest in pre-Series A and Series A companies. We have 50 companies across Spain, and 1/3 of them are mostly based in the US. And I will moderate the panel today with my three friends and colleagues here. And my experience with insurtech, we only have one investment in insurance, in a company called Cover Wallet, which is a New York-based company that's focusing on something that we are going to discuss now, which is how to disrupt this big market, no? And these guys do that for SMEs on property and casualty insurance in the US, and they do that through the process. So they have a much more easier process to contract insurance and to compare, so people can do that in a few minutes as opposed to filling up lots of PDF forms. No? But jumping on the panel today, as a matter of introduction, when I was preparing this, I was thinking, okay, is this a nice industry to be disrupted? And from an investor in technology, I think this is a dream come true. No? If you want to disrupt industries, this is great, because it's very large. I mean, you only have to walk through any major city to see all the buildings that insurance companies have. The profits from major banks, in a high percentage, up to 1/3, come from insurance products. So it's very large, and it's very old. No? If you look at the top 500 companies in the world, there are 50 which are insurance companies. So again, it's large, so there's lots of good insurance companies among the largest companies. And if you look at the average age of those companies, any thought? Think again. Many?
Torn?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of companies here, right?
The average age of those 50 companies is 96 years old.
Yeah.
So it's companies that have several generations working under certain premises. No? So if you're a disruptor, this is like Disneyland, no? So, but that's not yet happening, no? So I believe that we are like 5 to 7 years behind fintech. Fintech, as we've been listening before, it's already on the move, and we have very large companies at IPO level, or big companies with real numbers and clients behind them. But that's not yet happening in the insurance business. So an open question for all of you, please jump in. Where do you think disruption is going to come from? Distribution, product, pricing? Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm a very poor moderator. I need to introduce my colleagues. Sorry about that. I won't get paid today. I have Pablo Moro here. Pablo Moro runs innovation at Mutua Madrileña. Mutua is one of the largest insurance companies in Spain and Chile. No? And Pablo also comes from Telefónica. His prior engagement was with Telefónica, and he invested in Kibo, in my fund. And now he's doing innovation for insurance in Mutua, and he's also invested in my fund, so he's a good friend. And I really thank him for his wise investment decisions.
And also in Mutua as well.
In Mutua. And Then we have Miguel Vicente. Miguel Vicente is, one of the top Spanish entrepreneurs, and he's been a serial entrepreneur, and he now runs Anti-Venture Builder. In this Venture Builder, he has launched several companies amongst the top companies in Spain. Wallapop is one of them. Globo. We have one joint investment in Mascoteros, which is a marketplace for pets, nothing to see with insurance. And then we have Florian from Paris. Florian is the founder of Astoria, which is a very unique investor. So he has money to invest. So if you are an entrepreneur interested in insurance, he has fresh money for you. He invests in seed for projects, European projects, although he's based in Paris, but he invests in European projects at seed stage. So 150K in seed or with other people in Series A. So it's a very interesting model because now we are going to see more and more vertical VC funds, and I think that's a very clear example. So with this, I shut up and I leave the floor to my friends here. So where do you think disruption is going to come from?
Well, hello everyone, and thank you very much, Aquilino, for the tough job of moderating the panel, and also very glad to share the panel with you guys. I'm missing the startup that he was invited, but I don't know what's happening with WeFox. He couldn't come. And well, going back to your introduction of what you said about the fintech and times behind or ahead of insurtech, I do agree what you said. It's obvious we are a little bit behind in time of if we compare with the fintech industry. I mean, if you see the market size of both industries, you can see that both of us are nearly $4 trillion. It's quite similar, 4.5, 4.3. And if you see the money that insurtech has risen and the fintech has risen, is nothing to compare. Fintech has risen $45 billion in the last 6 years, and insurtech companies has risen less than 4. Yeah. So, but I mean, there's two ways to see this, and I'm positive. I guess there is a lot of things to do here, a lot of funding to come to the industry sector, right? And
where do you see those 4 billion have gone to startups? What do they do? I mean, you're an investor.
Yeah,
so what do these startups do?
Actually, we've been investing in that space for 4 years right now, so almost since inception and the creation of InsurTech just behind the wave of fintech. And what we've seen is that most of the money invested in startup is going to distribution, because I think that this is the part that requires less technology, because it's quite obvious to create a brand, not easy to set up a brand, but it doesn't require that much technology. So that's why the distribution has long been the main part where VCs and startups were investing and raising money. But what we see right now, it's maybe a second wave of more B2B startups that are leveraging technology to help insurance player being more relevant and delivering better services to their customers. So I think that the third wave that we will see is how to collect data, how to analyze data, and how to build ecosystem around insurance player to gather all those data. Because the main challenge in insurance but beyond is data, and we had the discussion earlier. So I think that the third wave will be startup leveraging technology, let's say AI, machine learning, and so on, to help insurance player better work and better leverage data.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. Thanks for your kind words. Hi, everybody. I think we are just in front of disruption paradise, I'm sure. It's one of the times that I'm happy to be on the startup side instead of being on the corporate side. Sorry for saying that, okay. Pablo. But it's true. I mean, this disruption is already happening. I mean, it's true that probably it's not the same amount that we've seen in terms of investments in bank or in fintech. But the truth is that last year we invested 2 billion, and it's 10 times what it was invested 4 years ago. Yep. So clearly the disruption is already happening. And I do agree with you that everything is going to start first on the product and distribution side. So incumbents have been 50 years, more than 50 years here, building solid assets, that's true. But it's going to be difficult for them to move the elephant. And just give me an example. Let me give an example. Nowadays, 70% of the sales in insurance are done through intermediaries. And if you take into account banks, probably it's 90%. So it means that they are far away.
Online and offline.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But the truth is that they are really far away from the customers. And that sometimes creates a lack of good experience in customer and really gives a lot of opportunities for disruption. So this is why I agree with you with the idea of everything is going to come first on the product and distribution side. If you look at the last Business Insider report, you will see that 60% of the startups, probably you know better than me, are based exactly in this part of the value chain. Everything is going to come, but we're going to see different, probably, ways of innovations overlapping. And once IoT, artificial intelligence, and big data comes, they go to a full potential, probably, we'll see them the other waves coming. No? Just an example, as a proof of concept, you see what happened in the industry, in the car insurance, you know more than me, 10 years ago. So nowadays, the players that are direct sellers, they stolen 20% market share from incumbents. So this is clearly, I agree with you, and I like this. We are in a disruption paradise. So good news for startups.
Yeah. And what about the product? Because we always discuss distribution and data, but do you think that the insurance product itself is going to be changed? Like you don't have to contract things for 1 year, for 5 years, or you can. So technology will allow you, mobile will allow you to do to insure different risks, different things that could happen. Is it going to rain today? I pay for my umbrella, no? Do you see startups working on the product itself?
Yeah, I guess the challenge here, well, the final challenge is to make it sustainable, right? Because there are a lot of things, a lot of startups in the US, in the UK as well, trying to build new products, but they are not getting in a sustainable way. So I foresee 3 ways to build the new InsurTech product. And the first one should be a more flexible one to try to cover new needs for not for a year. I mean, for seconds, for trips. So this is an obvious way to explore. Secondly, I would say more UX. Is obvious, and third is what you said. I mean, new needs to cover, and perhaps in the digital customer, we are going to discover more digital needs to cover.
Yeah, cybersecurity is a big thing. When are we going to be able to have cybersecurity threat insurance? Is that something that you are looking at?
Yeah, I think that this is the big and the next big market, because we anticipate that the car insurance market will decrease, and then we anticipate the cybersecurity market to increase and to take and to replace the proportion of car insurance. But I think that here there are 3 main challenges. The first one is just to try to protect data, because that's the main issue. So how you limit the risks. So that's really important. And here we see lots of startups trying to encrypt data or make sure that it's tougher to access your data, assuming that at the end there is no way you can avoid a hack. So there is the risk zero doesn't exist in cyber. So that's an assumption. So first, protect data, then being aware every time you've been hacked, and that's what happened with Facebook, with 550 million or 100 million million profile hacked, or maybe more. We will discover in the next weeks. And I think that the last and main challenge in insurance is how to price the risk. So meaning that when Facebook has 50 million accounts hacked, what's the cost for this kind of company? Meaning how many people will leave the platform? Is there any fine from the European state regarding GDPR or something like that? So what's the risk? And then how much will it cost to the company? And then how do you price the right insurance product? And back to what you said, I think that the main challenge for insurance right now regarding the product is how to make it more relevant, because people are really price-driven in that industry, so looking for the cheapest product available on the market, because I think they don't really understand, and we as consumers don't really understand what's behind the insurance product. So I think that the main challenge is to make sure that customers understand what they are paying, why they are paying for that kind of product, and then it will be a way for insurance players to increase the prices. And on startups, I think that most of the startups right now are innovating on maybe technology, maybe user experience, but not that much on the product themselves, because you have only few startups in Europe that have the full stack and the regulatory approval. Most of them are just brokers or MGA, meaning that they are reselling product built by insurance players, and obviously those products are not that innovative yet.
I agree. I think, I mean, that's my personal opinion, that there is lots to be done in product, no? And we are seeing some interesting developments, although they are still very tiny startups, no, on that area. And so that's from the disruptor side or from the startup side. But what about the incumbents? If you have all these barbarians at the gate, and how, and I think probably it's a good question for you, what should incumbents, insurance companies, traditional insurance companies be doing now? You've done something, I mean, you can maybe discuss the agreement that you've reached with Antai, but what should you be looking at?
Well, we are looking for, well, it depends on the scenario. I mean, we have a lot of, in fact, we are, sorry.
Europe. So let's see, if you're a big European insurance company, what's?
Well, I mean, internally, we are not able to build the new products we need to reach the new markets, the new customers, right? So we have to leverage new vehicles, new open innovation vehicles to reach the startups and to increase our customers, our revenues. But there's not just one way to make it. I mean, sometimes it will be buy the minority stake in the startups. Sometimes will be to take partnerships without making any investments. Sometimes will be build externally, that the one that you mentioned that we have done, we are trying to do with Antai. And in fact, in Mutua right now, in Mutua Madrileña, we are right now drafting the new vehicles we want to have for reaching more startups and to integrate the startups in our value chain. So the one you mentioned with Antai is trying to cover two main goals. The first one is build new products for the new customers, for the new digital customers. And the second one is obvious as well, is analyze their portfolio and trying to get new channels to reach new customers. Right? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, thanks for your words. Yes, we're really honored to have Mutua Madrileña in our team. Just to give you a little bit of background of Antai. Antai is a company builder where we co-found companies with the best class entrepreneurs. Now we have in the portfolio 17 companies from marketplaces such as Wallapop, you mentioned before, Globo, e-commerce. We've done many different things. And last year we decided to focus on InsurTech and FinTech. And this is where we are now focusing our new startups. The first one is Selmap, right? You have heard about it. It's a telemedicine platform. Where we think there is a huge opportunity on the healthcare insurance market. And we are really, really pleased to work with Mutua Madrileña. I mean, the good job they've done is proven on their incredible and spectacular customer loyalty base that you have. And they've done a big effort, a strong willingness in digital innovation. And we think that we're in a point where we can get the best thing from two worlds. I mean, the speed and agility from startups together with resources, talent, and all the assets of incumbents. And this is what we're looking for in this partnership between Antai and Mutua Madrileña. To make this, I would say, magic happen, putting all these things together and combining all these strong sources of innovation. No? And this is what big corporates should do. I mean, already combine these three things, no? Build inside their own capabilities. They're doing hiring talent at all levels, technology, marketing, as they did with Pablo, that has a strong background in digital innovation. Also to build at executive level and above level. That's one thing. The other one is investing in venture capital, accelerating platforms, corporate venturing, and also buy when there's an opportunity to increase their customer base. So, in my opinion, I mean, big corporations should do that, exactly what Mutua Madrileña is doing. No? Combine these three kinds and have the best of the different worlds, and to have an approach of a complete open innovation.
And I think that on top of that, there are two main challenges. The first one that you mentioned is a cultural change, because I think that corporates need to allow their teams to make mistakes. Because if you don't allow your team to make mistakes, and if in your day-to-day job you know that you can do mistakes, otherwise your bonus or your career will be damaged, then you can't innovate. Because innovating is making mistakes. So I think that this is the first point where a corporate should focus, trying to help their employees making mistakes. I don't say making mistakes every day, but maybe 10% of the time they should have a free space where they can try things, and if it doesn't work, anyway, no impact on bonus, no impact on career. So that's the first point. And the second point is that I think that incumbent insurance player, reinsurance player, should have a look at what's their core business. Meaning that they should realize that one part of the value chain, one part of their job will be outsourced to startup in the near future. So the question is not how to compete with insurtech player to make sure that those guys will not, let's say, cannibalize one part of their business, but much more how can I work with insurtech startups to make sure that people outside of the insurance market will not enter the insurance market. Two examples here, Apple with his watch might enter the digital health space because they have many health data on their customers, and Tesla is claiming that he wants to integrate the car insurance product directly into the price of the car. So two examples of people definitely not in the insurance space, but that might let's say, compete in the near future with insurance players. So again, the competition is coming from outside of the market. So the question, again, is how to leverage technology, how to leverage startups to outsource one part of the market and make sure that we stay relevant and that we stay in the market.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Let me add one thing. I think 1 month ago I was asked by a reporter, what do you think really corporates believe in this digital transformation, or is it just something that is good for PR? And I said, the answer is just look at who is in charge of digital innovation and transformation, and if the best talent that they have, they believe in that. If not, they're not. No? And that's the case in your case, good case, no? For example, no? So I completely agree. So it's a change of culture, but at the same time, it's just really put the top executives that in their mind. No?
Mm-hmm. And one, we have still five more minutes. I've seen outside the guys from BNext. BNext startup that's a neobank, so a mobile bank towards millennials. You've mentioned that you want to do things to attract new segments of customers. Do you think the neobank phenomena, like Revolut, we had the Revolut guys here this morning, N26, BNext here in Spain, do you think there will be something similar to attract younger audiences in the insurance market, or not really?
I think that that's the point we mentioned earlier regarding distribution. So how to make a different user experience, how to make a different marketing approach to target new customers. But I think that at the end, what matters the most is not just communication, it's the product itself, meaning that N26, Revolut, and those guys, they have a very smooth user experience. They are very clear. The onboarding is really smooth, let's say. So the user experience, again, has been revamped by technology. So the same should happen in technology. And here I will just mention one company, a French company, Alan, that is doing B2B insurance product. And here it's the perfect example of a full stack player because they have the insurance regulatory approval.
Towards the channel or?
Yeah, it's a B2B because they are selling their products through startups, and that's the perfect example of how to leverage technology to revamp the user experience, meaning instead of having to deal with lots of paper, spend a lot of time over the phone for the CFO or the COO to manage all the employees' insurance product, they can do it very easily online, and that's the perfect example. Technology here is just used to have a great user experience, not yet to have innovative insurance products.
Okay,
so,
yeah. Let me add that, of course, I mean, we are seeing companies in the US and in the UK like Lemonade, or for example, Seago, which is a London-based company, that are innovating in product specific for millennials, products on demand, insurance on demand. And we are seeing they are growing. Probably, as you were saying, the first innovation will come in these aspects where you have low dependency of incumbents. Of course, I mean, the market is difficult, it's regulated, but we're seeing a lot of new products that are targeting these specific segments, no? And also completely different ones. Like, for example, I don't know, you have heard a company, a Berlin-based company, which is Simple Insurance, which is a B2B company that is just creating a completely new experience in the checking point, selling insurance in the digital point of sales. And I think that they raised 50 million with Allianz and Rakuten. So we have seen innovation in product in both parts, in B2B part and in B2C part.
And for the audience, could you, before we close up, could you mention one startup that, in your opinion, is going to be a big thing in Europe for the next 3-4 years? Out of all the startups you deal with, and you think that is going to have a disrupting effect on how we do business here? Just one name, and maybe one sentence with the reason. Yeah.
It's not easy to say just one name because there are a lot of startups doing really good things today.
You say two.
Three. And in three parts of the value chain, I would say. For attracting customers, I really like what they are doing in a UK startup called Bow2Many. I don't know if you know them. Okay. It's impressive how they use Instagram to increase the loyalty and the customer attraction. For risk analytics and claim management, I would say a lot of startups from Israel that they use artificial intelligence to increase and to reduce the time to manage the claims, and also the Spanish-Mexican BDO. Okay. And I'm missing one in the product size. Okay. In the US, you have a lot of examples like Trough or Slice Labs, but not here in Europe.
So good opportunity.
Yes, I said before, I mean, this is a disruption paradigm, so there are many through Europe and the US. I just mentioned one of we have just created with Elma at telemedicine. And, but really believe in this model, as I was saying before, the Simple Insurance company based in Berlin. What I think that it's making all the process digital, seamless, and really offering a unique customer experience.
And on my side, I will mention a French company, Zelros, which is leveraging artificial intelligence.
Sorry, what's the name again?
Zelros.
Okay, Zelros.
And they are leveraging artificial intelligence to accelerate the claim process, plus gather a lot of data around the insurance itself.
Very interesting area. Okay, so we are going to end up here. Thanks very much for coming to this panel and listening to what our panel had to say. And thank you, Florian, Miguel, Pablo, and enjoy South Summit and the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.